Hello, fans. Autistic Explorer here. Today, I stand before YouTube, including everybody else, everybody that I'm talking to who are YouTube users and, all this good stuff. I want to talk about what it's like to have a disability of just about any sort. Um, you know, it's starting with the good side to practically all of it. you know, there's there's the good the good side I want to talk about first is that you can get free services with it. You can get, I don't want to say free attention, but because you're going to get the same attention as practically everyone else with or without a disability. But the good side of it is you can get free services like you would if you were in the military. Discounts. You can get discounts on public transportation. You can get reimbursed for things, that you use that everybody else does, everybody else around you uses. The bad side to it is you got people that get jealous of you, because the thing is that the other good side to it also is that you can get discounts on housing, you know. But that's if you get into a program that you would have to prove that you're autistic or that you're any sort of disability, dyslexia, or I don't know how you explain. I learned about that a long time ago, and well, not a long time, just shortly, and I'm still trying to know how to pronounce that. ADHD. ADHD falls to like short-term memory loss. I have that. Um, and I'm already showing symptoms of that right now. Um, So a lot of you a lot of you who think that we don't get it, I get it. I get it totally. Um, you know, Dyslexia, I'm not sure what kind of a disability that is. The only thing about dyslexia is, can you be can you be, you know, um is that really a diagnosis where can you be eligible for free services and free collections through Social Security, and just say disability, like Social Security disability, because that's what it is, collection, and discounts on housing and public transportation. You can. I'm not saying you can't, but it's a little more. It's a little less of a disability, but it is a disability. However, you know, however, the trauma about it is that a lot of them were told that they were stupid, that they really could, because they do struggle with reading too, which is a disability. It does, um, and believe me, I know this because I work with people with disabilities. I understand completely. I don't have dyslexia, but I know what a disability is. Dyslexia, you can actually um, you actually can um, you actually can show symptoms of a disability. There's one actress I know that has it. I don't. I'm on the air, so I can't really give out names, but I can't. I can picture who it is. Um, a Hollywood actress. I know another Hollywood actress also, besides that one, the other one, who actually has ADHD. That's another disability. ADHD is somebody who has short-term memory loss, and I have that. Um, you know, that's one thing I have, and I got another favorite act. I have the favorite actress who I put on the top, my top favorite, first on the list. Again, I don't like mentioning names, but I know who it is. I've looked up 30 celebrities who have it, who have all these things. And as sad as it is, at least they got through the hardest things, and they're succeeding, and that's where it goes to show you that if you know what you want, take it before it's gone. Um, discrimination is non-tolerable on my book and on the books of all my friends, and well, I don't know how many people in my family, but I don't care. You know, there's times where you could punish your own family for all these things that you want that they try to discriminate you from. It's true. And this is where the conversation here kind of leads to like the bad side of having a disability. Okay? The bad side to having a disability is, it's very hard to become like everybody else as you get older. You know, um, and it's as sad as it is. There is a way to overcome that and become like everybody else. You just have to be strong, enjoy your life, and put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. Don't be hesitant just because you have family or friends who tell you you can't do this. You can't do it because it's too dangerous. I'm skeptical about it. I'm about my son or daughter or whatever the hell you want to say. You know, don't be. I don't. It doesn't matter. If you're old enough to make your own choices, then as which you are by law, you you just need to show what you got. Show what you're made of because they probably don't know it. They're thinking in the back of their mind you're too scared to. And I'm not scared. I mean, but now there's more to this, okay? There's more to just that. You got sickos out there, okay? You got people out there that say, I'm autistic. I'm Asperger's, which I'll talk about in a minute. Um, you got people out there who want to be like us, who want to be like us who get free services and all these things that I just talked about with you. Well, the thing is, if you're not diagnosed autistic or any kind of disability, dyslexia, ADHD, Asperger's syndrome, well, you can't say you're autistic. You can't say you have a disability of any sort. Um, you know, that's this is what I'm sorry. See, I told you I have ADHD. I have loss of words. You can't say you have a disability if you don't have diagnostic papers to prove it. All these things that these people have been proven by a doctor, a professional. I know this because I was diagnosed when I was 5, and the doctor said I was autistic. And not because he said that he didn't just come up with that. It's in the computer. It's in the system. Okay, it was in the system. They ran a diagnostic on me to see what was what, why I was doing this. I still do that to this day when I'm, I just when I'm either doing what I'm doing now, or if I'm, let's say, in the middle of something that kind of is serious. I try to block that out so that nobody sees it. But when I'm alone and I'm, you know, like, let's say I'm proud of what I have, or if I'm excited, or if I twirl my hands. I talk out loud to myself. And sometimes I do it quietly. Sometimes when I'm upset, I'll either do it out loud, or I'll probably do it quietly, sometimes in my sleep. Other times when I'm upset too, I do it. Or other times when I'm excited, I do it. It all depends on the situation. Um, but but this is the downfall of it. The downfall is that you get imitated by others who are not autistic or who are not any sort of. Now, why I keep mentioning autistic is because it's the main part of being a disabled person, but there's other names to a disability. There's other disabilities out there, like disability diagnosis is out there. There's dyslexia, ADHD, Asperger's syndrome, autism. Then there's PTSD. I forgot about that one. I have 50% of that. I know somebody in my family who thinks I don't have it. Bull. I have it. If I listen, if I didn't feel, you can feel it at times. If people say you don't have to show symptoms and have something. That all depends on the situation. Okay, if you I know I have it because I can feel it. I can feel it, and you want to run a diagnostic on me, fine, but it's gonna be there. Um, it's gonna be there. I know it because I've been through a lot in my time. I've been through all kinds of stuff that you rough crowds can't imagine being going through, and it's not pretty. Okay, people like yourselves who say, "Oh, it's cool to have a disability, so I'm gonna consider myself Asperger's syndrome." I'll talk to you about that in a minute. Well, you can't consider yourself that if you were never diagnosed any kind of disability. You cannot say to yourself, even by law, you can't say that. You can't just so what you okay, so what are you going to do? You're going to catfish the whole world including the state of whatever you live in, including the whole nation so that you can get all the free services that people with disabilities get and do what? Take from the poor, take from the disabled, take from the homeless. I mean, you're out of your minds. You can't there's so many things about a disabled person that you wouldn't understand because you were never diagnosed it. So what are you doing? Why are you telling lies to disabled people or the rest of the world that whether they or the rest of the world disabled or not when you know you don't have it, you know, there's not I don't know how else to say it. Eventually maybe I'll come up with a word for it, but you can't just say you can't not have proof of a disability and then say you're disabled. I get it, okay? Look at me. I don't look disabled, do I? No. But I am. I have proof that I'm disabled. All right? I have doctor's proof to prove it. I just you know, I don't want to show it because I don't even know what I listen, maybe I will show it when I don't know. Maybe I'll show it to you as one day, but I just don't know yet or when yet cuz I don't know where they are. My mother has it um or had it before. I don't know. I think my mother when she took me to get diagnosed a long time ago, she probably has it through the doctor. Or actually it's maybe she doesn't have it at all. Maybe the doctor has it in the computer. But I can tell you for a fact if I have proof of it because I was diagnosed at 5 years old and it's all in the system. Um But if you were never diagnosed a disability, you can't say you're autistic or Asperger's or dyslexia. You can't say that. You know, you can say what you want about yourself, but you can't tell people. You have to tell the truth. Are you autistic or are you any sort of disability or are you not? Say the truth. Tell the truth. You know, because you need to understand when you're when you're a disabled person, the thing that's not cool about it is that it's hard to be like everybody else. It's hard to get what everybody else has. You name it. A decent job. The love of your life. The friends to hang out with and go on adventures with. You know, I feel like most disabled people still, even though we have doors open for them, okay, are left out. You know, are left out and are not paid enough attention to, who still to this day feel like a bother to others, which we don't mean to be, but you know, that's how we feel. We do feel that way at times, but it's normal to in other occasions. Even people without disabilities sometimes feel like a bother to people with disabilities, or just sometimes, I guess sometimes feel like a bother to others too that don't have it. But for the most part, there are disabled people who feel like they're a bother to others, and it's sad, because you want to put yourself out there and go after the love of your life and invite the love of your life out to dinner and, make more friends and, like, be the people that we want to be, because we're human beings. We're not just extraterrestrials, and that's not what we are, period. We're human beings. We live on the face of the earth. But the thing you need to understand is that you can't. This is where, the free services. Look, you want free services. Get yourselves a job. All right. If you don't have a disability, you're not entitled to free services. Get a job. Get yourself a retirement plan set up for yourselves. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I care about everybody. I care about people with and without disabilities. Yes. But here's what I don't understand. Here's what I will turn people down for. You want to pretend to have something you don't have? Then you know what you're doing? You're pretending to be me in a lot of ways. You're pretending to be that person who has a disability, and it's a good way of making fun of them. Okay? Listen, when I understand, because when I was in James E. Allen, I used to imitate somebody who used to stutter in the class all the time. And I tried to be friends with him, but he turned his back on me. Now you got to understand, there are people with disabilities who even don't want to, who really have a thing for pretending to be your friends, and what do? They turn their backs on you. You know, whether you have a disability or not. Okay, I have people who I talk to a lot who don't have disabilities, and they're not judgmental. They don't, they understand. They know what a disability is, but they don't. You don't see them pretending to have a disability. And I notice there's some Joe schmoes, male, female, who pretend to have a disability, and it's wrong. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Donald Trump, President Bush, or let's just say their names. I don't care if you're the president or not. I don't care. I really don't care if you're Joe Biden, Donald Trump, George Bush, or W. Bush. I don't care if you're Barack Obama. I don't care who you are. I don't even care if you're Tony Blair, the former president prime minister of Britain. I don't care. If you don't have a disability, then don't say you have a disability. Okay? Because you don't have the proof. I hope, and I'm going to put my right hand up and just be honest about it. I hope that we one day elect the first disabled president of the United States. Because if we do, we're going to have the first. Some of you out there who live in other countries are going to have the first disabled prime minister. Maybe the first disabled king or queen of England. I hope so. I'm all for it. Not because I'm disabled, but I'm all for it. I'm all for what we know we can do. Okay? If I can put myself out here on YouTube and tell this to a bunch of people who probably are disabled or not disabled, who are probably watching me right now, look, pal, look, pal, I'm tired of living in. I don't. I'm not a one. If I'm not a one to live in fear, you've seen me a few times on YouTube. If I'm not a one to live in fear, guess what? You're not either. All right. I want you to understand. It's normal to feel like we live in fear, but don't live in fear. Okay? Don't let anything stop you from living your life. And you know what? Don't let these people you tell you something that is not true. Don't let them fool you. This is where the world is corrupt, you know? And there's a way to stop it, but, it takes investigation to find out who these people are. These people try to play hard to get because they don't want to go to jail for all these things that they're doing that are hurting us. And you want to go around hurting yourselves or hurting other people without disabilities, that's fine. Not that I like seeing anybody get hurt. But what I will not stand for is people with disabilities of all sort getting hurt. And it's called pretending to be a disabled person. If you don't have the proof, you're not disabled. It's simple. There's no other way to put it. Um I'm trying to come up with other words. Okay, I wanted to tell you what Asperger's is. Okay, now I have a lot of different types of disabilities. I don't just have autism. I've outgrown parts of that. I do have Asperger's as well. I'm Asperger's is under the umbrella. It's an autism. It's a different kind of autism, but it's autism. It's not just regular autism, but it is an autism. It's a different kind. It's more under the umbrella where you're more out there. You know what I'm saying? You know what you want. Where you know this is where you could kind of talk. You could kind of say to me, "I'm autistic, but I'm not really. I'm not just regular I know that. I know this. I'm not regular autism. I'm more Asperger's. You know, but people who are clearly Asperger's, they like to, you know, there's also a thing called bipolar. That's somewhat a disability, and I'm not saying it is. There's also OCD, which is another one. I mean, most people have that. OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. PTSD is very common too, but OCD, bipolar, that's pretty common. PTSD is pretty common too. PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. Most people get that from well, for the most part, being in the war. Like you get a lot of them coming out of the military with that. And now the military, I'm finding out, has some autistic people, autistic recruiters. You know, um, they're opening doors now for that too, for people with disabilities. And I know this because in it's all in the bio. It's in the research now. I only know this because I just happen to be looking that up, and I'm telling you, it's there. They're there now. They're getting jobs. They're healthy as a charm. There's some disabled people. I know somebody with a disability who plays real hockey, and I'm one of them. I played real hockey. I showed this all to you. I played real hockey on the ice. I played with and I played with and without um, players who have tried out for the NHL and didn't make it, and they all didn't have disabilities. I was the only disabled player on the ice, and guess what? I made it through. Okay, I was discharged from playing hockey because of some back injuries and all that nonsense. But look, I did it. Okay, that's all that matters is I did it, and I could do it again if I wanted. But right now, but the way I have a lot going on now. I'm in the Special Olympics now. I'm putting on YouTube videos. I'm working for a company who pays me well. You know, but at the same time, guys, that's the other thing about having a disability. This is another thing I wanted to tell you. You have to be careful when you collect disability. You have to be careful with. You got to be careful with your hours at work. That's another thing I want to talk about. Be careful with your hours at work. I remember there was a time I tried working 40 hours a week and I got killed by Social Security, and I'm just telling you right now, for your sakes, of those of you who have disabilities, please be careful. Um, if you're not collecting disability, even though you're entitled to it, great, work 40 hours a week. Keep your eye. Keep your eye on your hours. You know, because you can only work up to a certain amount of hours. That's the truth. Um, so, but I can tell you this. Um, I've met some out there who have gotten off that a long time ago, who have tried out for other jobs that require 40 hours a week, and they're doing it. They're doing it and they love it. Me, I started late. I could, but I don't, I'm not feeling up to it. I'm just not feeling it. So I'd rather try to, I'd rather just try to limit my hours. I want to make time for myself and my family and my friends and all that good stuff. But I could. I'm fit for it. I just, you know. Anyway, let's get off the tantrum. I want to get off that subject. Um I want to talk about something else. This I had something in mind and now I can't remember. I see. I told you I have ADHD. And ADHD can be caused by PTSD also, which I do have. I do have, and I don't care how many people tell me I don't have it. I have it. Um, I have it, and I have doctor's proof that I have it. Uh, yeah. So OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. That's a disability. Like I just told you before, is very common for just about anyone. Even people who don't have autism have that kind of disability, and that disability is, when you want to try and keep things even. You want to try to keep your house clean. You want things to be perfect. The problem, guys, is you can't make people perfect. You can't make things perfect. You can be obsessed with something and it's not going to go the way you want it. You know, so what? So you can fix it. You want it to go the way you want things the way you had it. If you want things to go the way you want, well, then you gotta just let it be what it. You gotta see it as it always will be, and do yourselves a favor. If something about it goes wrong, you can fix it. But you're not just gonna be on your hands and knees while you're having company over, right? And you're just gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna scrub the floor now. I used to do that at my mother's all the time. People would be, we'd be having company all the time, and I'd be scrubbing the floors all the time on my hands and knees. And I'll never forget that time when I did that, and my mother slipped on the floor and almost almost got her. That's not funny. I'm just remembering what I'm just remembering what I once went through before, and but I'm just telling you that's what OCD is. I used to, I yeah I used to have that badly, and I outgrew it. I don't have much of it anymore. But the only OCD I do have is discrimination. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I don't I you know, you want to this is the thing about having a disability. When you hear somebody say, "Well, we're having girl talk," or "We're having guy talk." No, you're not. Not on my watch. I'm tired of people discriminating, being discriminative just because you're a man or just because you're a woman. I don't tolerate being discriminated from a conversation just because I'm a man. I'm a person for the most part. And I want to be involved in a conversation. I want to laugh. I want, like everybody else, I want to laugh too. So you know what? You want to have conversations? Let's have an everybody. Let's talk about something that anybody can be involved in. Yeah. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation about things that just about anybody could talk about. You know? You want to have girl talk? Do that on your own time. But when you have guys around you or you have girls around you, talk about whatever. Talk about something that anybody could be involved in. Otherwise, you know what? Let's involve a girl in guy talk. Let's involve a guy in girl talk. Because now you're discriminating me, and you're discriminating my family, and you're discriminating my friends who not no, they're not all guys, but there are some that are, and they don't want to be discriminated just because you're having girl talk. They want, if it's something funny that we want to that if it's something funny that you're talking about that we want to laugh too about, well, then you know, then it's your fault. It's your fault that you're talking. It's your doing. It's your fault that you want to talk about it. That you're talking about it, and we're sitting right there, feeling invisible. Like, I guess now you're gonna whisper in each other's ear, man, woman, you know. Okay, guy talk. Let's whisper in my guy friends, my brother's ear. Or my guy friend's ear. Or you're a girl. Okay, let's whisper in my girlfriend's ear. Let's whisper in my sister's ear. We're sitting right there. Okay? Do it on your own time. Do that on your own time when there's no guys around, or there's no, or or men, even men. When there's no girls around, let's do that on our own time. But when there's everybody, when you're surrounded by everybody who are or a part of your group, then don't talk about it. Talk about something that any human being can talk about. Like, let's talk about our favorite movies, our favorite actors and actresses. Let's talk about our favorite, you know, sports. Women like sports, not just men. Women like sports too. You know, you want to talk about politics? I recommend not talking about politics, but even a man, but again, you want to talk that's a man or a woman's thing too. You want to talk about politics? Fine. But that you can leave me out of. That's the only thing you can leave me out of. I will not get involved in politics. But um history. Sure. Let's talk about history. You know? But the one thing I will not I will not the one thing I will not discriminate is men or women. I will not discriminate a woman against, again, I will not discriminate a woman. I go for their rights. I go for the rights of everybody. This whole thing, this whole thing with like Black Lives Matter, this whole thing with the rioters at the whole like I once heard a long time ago, back in 2021, police lives matter. Well, guess what? That's just a job, okay? Listen, I tried to do that a long time ago. I couldn't pass the psychological. So that's practically, I think, the first test you take before the real test. I couldn't pass the psychological, so I couldn't do it. So I tried to get into the military to help the homeless and the disabled and the the poor. They wouldn't take me because of my asthma and the psychologically, of course. They wouldn't take me because of my psychological. But I didn't care. I really didn't care if I had to carry a weapon on my shoulder 24/7 just to protect the homeless. I would certainly do that. Just I would certainly be their bodyguard and protect them and help them because I don't appreciate all those communities being treated like they're stupid. I don't appreciate and even they don't either. I don't tolerate it. It's non-tolerable on my present. If you and even in their present, not just mine. And now I'm not when I say that, I'm not just talking about myself. I'm not just talking about myself as a disabled person. I'm talking about all disabled people. I'm making this all about them as well as I'm talking I'm making this all about people on the spectrum and beyond. But I'm mainly doing this for people on the spectrum because it's time to wake up. Okay? It's time to wake up and give them what they deserve and quit trying to pretend to be what you're not. Okay? Just as an excuse to take from the poor, the disabled, the homeless. I'm doing this for the homeless too. Talk about disabled people. And there's I'm also doing it for the celebrities out there who have disabilities because even though they've got pretty much got it all together, figure what do they do on their spare time with those disabilities? ADHD, dyslexia. What do they think of themselves as? You know, I don't know. I don't see it, but I heard one on an interview. I think my top favorite idol. I know this because I just happened to have found it and found a video of her actually talking about feeling not invited to things, feeling you know I guess you could say left out. You know because it's true. I mean, when you have ADHD or any kind of disability, you do feel like you're not invited to things. You do feel like you're a bother to others. You do feel like you're not, you know, you do feel like you're not like everybody else, even though you'd be surprised. You do feel like you can't do what others can do, even though that's not true. And it's sad to feel that way because, you want to be that way. You want to get all these um yeah, people yelling, just people making a lot of noise outside. I'm sorry. Where was I? Anyway, yeah, you want to be all those things, and it's normal to want that. And there's no reason why, and I say this all I say this all the time. There's no reason why you have to earn what all those things you want. You've earned it. You've earned it. Okay? You've earned it, and now you deserve it. Okay? You've earned it. So take it while you can get it. You know, you want to be all these things? Put yourself out there. Some of these things are not going to come knocking at your door. Some of these things are not going to just pull you over to the side of the road while you're driving, or even whether you drive or not. I mean, most disabled people don't like or are afraid to drive. But I know some that do drive which means if they can do it, you can do it. And you know what that means. You could certainly recruit them into the military if you wanted. You can certainly, you can certainly you can certainly be whatever you want. You want to get married to somebody? I know I do. I'm down for it. I just haven't met the right person yet, but I will. I will shortly. I just don't know when. I don't have a specific date, you know? Um, but I know it's going to happen. I just, I have to kind of stop saying it, because it's just going to chase it away. But that's the thing that I recommend from everyone. All right? Don't keep saying you want these things. Appreciate yourself. Be strong, you know? Take what you need when you know you take what you need when you have a date of when you can get it. Okay? Some things we don't have a specific date or time of when it's coming. Certain things you do have a date and time. The ones you do have a date and time or any sort of information on it. Though that you might, take that while you can and enjoy yourself with it cuz life is too short. But again, and I only want to go back to it because it needs to stop immediately. All right? It needs to stop and I'm not the one who can make it stop. But you want to prove you want to say to people I'm disabled. Okay. So you're disabled. Where's your proof? Do you have proof that you're disabled in writing, signed by a doctor? If you say you have proof, where is it? Show that. Show that to the state of whatever you live in. Show that to the federal that you have a disability. Where is it? Right? Where is your proof? I've noticed some people say, well, I have proof that I'm disabled. I have it in writing. I have it signed by a doctor. Well, you have to show that. Okay? You have to show that you have that. Don't show it in like, you know, don't just say it. Don't just say it. Okay? If you were never diagnosed, if your parents never took you in for diagnostics on what you are, then don't say that you have proof that you're disabled. Okay? Don't say, "Oh, I have dyslexia," and not have proof of it. Don't say that you have ADHD and not prove it. Don't say you have PTSD and not have proof. Don't say you're autistic and not have proof. Don't say you have Asperger's and not have proof. If you don't have proof of a disability, then you don't have it. Okay? There is no such thing. I understand people. I get it. Having a disability has become a big thing today because we're opening doors for them, and that's a great thing that we're opening doors for them. But just because we can open doors for them doesn't mean that you can go around saying that you have a disability. There we go. If you don't have a disability, then you don't have a disability. If you don't have if you don't have proof that you have a disability, because that still exists today, it always will. If you don't have proof that you're any kind of disability, then don't say then don't lie to the world. Don't lie to the world, catfish the world into pretending that you're something you're not, and be what I don't know the technical word for the rest of it. All I know is, what are you doing? You're obviously trying to take from the disabled. That's what you're trying to do. You're pretending to be disabled because a person with a disability because you just want to take from them. And you can't do that. You cannot do that. You cannot take from the disabled, right? So, okay, so I'm going to catfish the world. I'm going to catfish the assemblyman who helps the disabled, or the congressman, or I'm going to catfish the state of whatever. It could be the state of Massachusetts, the state of New York, and I'm gonna catfish them and be like, okay, I'm this sort of disability. I'm dyslexia. Um I'm Asperger's. I'm autistic. I'm PTSD, or um I'm ADHD. If you're not, no, you're not. No, you're not. I know you're not. And you got to understand something. If you really think you have that, if you really think you have that, well, get a diagnostic and make sure that's true. If you Because otherwise, if because face it, if the doctor runs a diagnostic on you and it doesn't show that in the computer that you have it, then you're faking it. And you're faking it to try to take from the disabled and the poor and the homeless. You know, don't do that. Um, you know, because face it, you're too good. You're too good for that. And a lot of people with disabilities are too good for dealing with people who think they can do whatever they want, just to take from them, just to have things taken from them. You know what I'm saying? They're too good for that. Look at what they have going on with themselves right now, right? Disabled people are too good to go through being, you know, had to have things taken from them, or left out. You know what I'm saying? They can put themselves through more than that. And when pretending to that's another thing too. Guys, you're going to have people with disabilities who are going to look at you and be like, "Are you sure you have a disability? Because I don't know that." I don't know that. You know what I'm saying? I could look at some of you and be like, I can't tell if you're disabled or not. Are you sure about that? In fact, I have another favorite actress who's, believe it or not, autistic. All right, she's twice my age, but she does a good job with her roles in this one movie I watched from the '80s, and I got to tell you, you know, um, anyway, and yeah, that's another thing, guys. I mean, that this is all of why I put on this YouTube and I stand before you today, because I am, I've had this happen to me before. I've made friends with a few people who I thought were on my level, and they're not. And I can tell they're not, because, like for an example, like I here I am trying to be an included. Here I am trying to be included, right? What sucks is they can't fit a seat. You can't fit one more person in. You can't just try. I hate when people don't try and include you somehow. Put your heads together, people. If there's too many of us in here and you don't feel you can fit another person in, put your heads together and figure out how you can fit one more person in. There is no reason why you can't fit one more person in just because, and I feel like that's done because of someone's disability. Um, yeah, I feel like a lot of times, and I've had this. I only know this because I've had it happen to me, where people pretend to be autistic. People, forget that. I've already let's get past that. I've had people ask me to go with them places, right? But now here I am being forced to take my car, or because I can't fit in this car because there's too many people in it. Well, I won't hang out with people who won't make room for me, because you know what? To me, that's just a way of making sure that I'm not included. I want to be able to have a conversation with people and be a part of it. I want to I you know, and I want all of you who have autism and other disabilities to be included. I will never. I will make I'll make sure, and I'll do whatever it is in my power to make sure that nobody is excluded, whether or not you have a disability, okay? And I hope to God that we come together and we make friends with people who are not disabled. You know, you understand what I'm saying? Look, it's happened before where we've had, where the black people would get treated badly, and the Indians were treated badly by the British, and I understand that. And this is where I stand before YouTube to hope that we can all come together, with and without disabilities, come together, make friends, make love to the love of our lives, the loves of our lives, and you know, have kids together. You know, one day our kids will be a little bit of both, disabled, not disabled. Let's create a little bit of everything. I feel like the whole the whole like the disabled community. I mean, look at all these actors and actresses that we just talked about who have disabilities. There's about 30 of them that I know. I mean, they're making friends with people who are not disabled, and those those movie stars and singer-songwriters, they all have disabilities that you almost can't tell have disabilities. And it goes to show you, and it goes and it talks about it talks about their backgrounds of what their disability was. Some struggled with reading, some struggled with making friends, and probably are still struggling with that today. And it's sad. And I don't appreciate people having to struggle with these things just because they have disabilities. You people, you people who don't have disabilities, with my right hand up, okay? Get this through your heads. Parents, guardians, with or without disabilities, get it through your heads. And especially ones who don't have any diagnostics of a disability. Stop pretending to be a disabled person, because you do realize that a lot of disabled people will look at you and be like, who do you think you are? We're out of here. Let's go. They're all going to take their friends and be like, you know what? We're out of here. This person, I know what this person's thinking. All right? No. Prove that you have a disability and then get back to us. All right? In the meantime, shut your mouths. you know? Um, However, you want to be like those people? Um, well, just be careful who you change into. Just be careful of the choices you make. There's with or without a disability. I mean, there's based on the choices you make could get you in trouble. Stuff like that. But it does not mean that we're not entitled to make our own choices like everybody else who don't have disabilities. We're entitled to it. We're entitled to make our own choices. We're entitled to choose what we want to be. We're entitled to choose what we want to do when we get older. We're entitled to choose what we want to do and how we want to take care of our bodies. You know what I'm saying? All right? So, there's so many ways you can take care of your body. You can take vitamins, you can exercise. I mean, let's face it. I've up until now at least. I mean, although even now I've never had to take vitamins just to take care of my body. I take care of my body because I'm an athlete and I've limited my eating a while back. And I don't feel the need to. You know, no one can tell me no one can tell me how to take care of my body other than to give me all the advice I could get for it. I'm happy with what's in my body. And if there was something in my body that didn't belong there, I would feel it. Okay? Sure, you could show symptoms and not know it, but the thing is, you're going to know it later on. And believe me, I would have known it a long time ago if I had anything in my body that didn't belong there. All right? So, you could say what you like, whether you're family or not, you can say what you like, but, you know, you can't make choices for your kids once they're not kids anymore. All right? If they're teenagers, sure, because they're not old enough to make their choices yet when they're teenagers. But when they're adults between 21 plus, or now more like 25 plus. Okay? We can up that. More like 25 plus. You can give them all the advice you want as family members or friends, but you can't choose what you want them to do. It's up to them now. And especially if they're putting in to be their own people, because by law you're entitled when you're between 25 and up, you're entitled to be your own person, and you are. You just have to be strong and show that you're your own person, because instead of being a child in a grown man or a woman's body, you know what I'm saying? If you're a grown man or a grown woman, be one. Be an adult. Don't be a child. Be an adult. You want to get married to somebody? You want to move in with the person? Show that you can. You want to move in with your woman or your man? Stop being a child and do what you say you're gonna do. You want to run for president or prime minister or whatever. Do what you say you're gonna do. You want to be a tourist? Then be one. Choose what you say you're do what you say you're gonna do. Don't lie to yourself and be those things and be and have it be like, well, it's not happening. But what you can do is you could be like, hey, I'll see how I feel. Maybe I'll do this. I don't know. You can give it a maybe if you like. That you can do. That way you're not lying about yourself. You know? Um anyway, um hopefully I'll come up with more stuff to talk about on being a disabled person. When I do, um when I do, you'll hear from me. But other than that, I have other YouTube videos I want to put on. So I don't want to get into too much right now, but when I come up with more to talk about, believe me, you will be the first to hear it from me. Just like you are right now, just like I'm doing right now. So, fans and all those people who have been diagnosed autistic and other disabilities, good luck to you. Okay? I feel for you dearly. I I don't like seeing I don't like seeing all of, you know, I don't like seeing you get hurt in any sort of way, the way I have been. I have a whole book written about myself. It's all true. And if it wasn't true, I wouldn't be writing it. I wish you all the luck. I wish you all the care and kindness and, my prayers to you all. Okay? And show what you can do. Show what you can do. And I can guarantee you you're gonna have doors open for you like there's no tomorrow. But don't expect it to come knocking at your door. That's not, whether you have a disability or not, it's not gonna come to you. It's not just gonna show up in your front yard. You have to put yourself out there and get it done. You know, make phone calls if you have to. That's it. There is one way to get it to. There is one way to put it right. I'm sorry again. There is one way to make it happen. Okay, if you don't feel like you can put it, if you that you can get up, leave the house. If you don't feel the need to like leave the house and go do it, you can. This stuff can also be a phone call away too. Okay. Um, and don't take crap from anybody. I know it's hard, but don't take crap from anybody. Take it from your own heart. Your heart is the truth teller. Don't use brains. We only use a quarter of that because we're human beings. Okay, human beings only use a quarter of our brains. Use your brain on some thoughts, on some occasions, but use your heart. Your heart does most of the thinking. Okay, your brain does a little bit. And all I can say now, because and I listen. There's a lot of things that I think that people with disabilities are eventually going to be doing in the future. You can become whatever you want. You can be a train engineer. You can get into the military. There's so many things that the railroad, is now opening doors for people with disabilities. Now that we got that, now that we got those things in place, go do it. You want to be someone? Choose for yourself who you want to be. Don't let family members choose it for you, or friends, or like, for one, people who try to make choices for you are not your friends. They're people who expect you to do things that you don't want, that you don't feel comfortable doing, or that you don't want to do because it's not your thing. No, your true friends are the people who will give you advice. Family members, the only thing they should be doing for you now is giving you advice on what should be done. But if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. You know? Then don't do it. I mean, they'll protect you from any choices you try to make that might get you in trouble. But if you know yourself very well and you know you're not that kind of person, then don't let them make choices for you. Don't let anybody inside or outside your family try to scare you, because you're not scared. All right, you can say you're scared, but if you're not going to show symptoms of being scared, then you're not scared. you know so just go out there and be what you want to be when you get older, that you say you want to be when you get older. you know you're old enough now to be the person that you say you want to be, right? You're old enough to be that person that you say you want to be. You're old enough to make your choices. Go do it. just one thing I expect out of you is don't let people take advantage of you. Don't let people try to discriminate you. However, if you have a problem with something and you don't feel you can stand up to that person, you can always have it reported. You can always report it. You know, that's one thing we have in handy too. Discrimination. I don't know how many of you don't believe in the HIPAA law or disagree with it, but I don't disagree with the HIPAA law. You cannot discriminate. Okay? The HIPAA law is a federal law against discrimination. I don't appreciate discrimination, so guess what? Because of what I am, discrimination is a no-no on my present. And I go for the HIPAA law. Okay? I don't really care what anybody says. I don't care what a family member has to say. You don't like the HIPAA law? Too bad. You don't like what I have to say about it? Too bad. I'm all for the HIPAA law against discrimination because I'm against discrimination. I'm against people who pretend to be a disabled person. I'm against, you know, I'm against people who have some kind of excuse or have some kind of way of taking from the poor, the disabled, the homeless, you know. And I stand before all of you, especially all of you who have disabilities and who are homeless and who are looking for the things that you've been waiting for your whole life. Go take what you need when you can get it, and if there's something that you don't have that you want, stand up to yourself. Stand up to those people. Stand up for yourself. I mean, if they want to fight you for it, let them fight you for it. Just one thing I recommend: stand up to them. Don't be afraid of them. Stand up to them. They're just people like you. Okay? That person is just a person like you who lived on your ecosystem. You know? The only thing you can share, you have the only thing you can share out of this, the only share you got from them for them is, well, okay, you don't like what I you don't like my you don't you know, you're against what I believe in. Okay. What are you going to do about it? Right? You're going to put a gun to my head? I dare you to shoot me. You want to put a knife to my head? I dare you to take a swing at me with it. Do you want to physically hit me? Go ahead. I dare you. Nobody messes with you and nobody takes advantage of you. Okay? You want my money? Go through me. You know? Go through those people have to go through you because you are you. Whether you're disabled or not, you're you. Okay? Now, I'm about to wrap this up. But I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not leaving anything out. Okay? If there's anything I did leave out, I'll come back. I'll come back on and I'll explain it. I'll explain more. But I wish everybody luck, especially people who are on the spectrum of a disability. Good luck to you. I hope you find what you're looking for. I really do. I hope you find what you're looking for. And I really hope that one day you die an elderly person with the love of your life and not alone. You know, I hope you don't die alone. I hope you don't I hope you come to find what you're looking for. And I hope and you know what? your soulmate doesn't have to have a disability either. Um, your soulmate could be anything as long as the person makes you happy. You know, and you know what? You want anything that you want to happen in your life. Enjoy yourself. I'll, look. I'm not Spock, but live long and prosper. Um, I really, you know, I really hope that you get what you're looking for, and I really hope that you, while you're at it, I really hope that you enjoy your life of what you already have and get what you need, okay, to get those things. And don't take crap from people, all right? Trust me, I did it once and it wasn't pretty, but I got out of it because I learned not to take crap from people. Whether it's family or someone outside your family, don't take crap from people. Be you, okay? If there's something you don't feel is right, don't do it. Because you're gonna hear different from family, even from people outside of family, especially. You know, you're going to hear different, and you're gonna get people who agree with you. There are in or outside your family, you're gonna get people who are disagreeable. But you know what? You're you, and that's all that matters. With that being said, you're gonna stand up. You're gonna stand up to people for yourself. Okay. So, I all I can say is I wish you luck, and don't be afraid to do what you feel is right for yourself. You want to be a part of something? Be a part of it. Don't leave yourself out. Be a part of it. And if you feel like you're being left out and you're afraid to be a part of it, you can always speak up. And if those people want to prove to themselves that you are a bother to them, then those people are not for you. They're not people you want to hang out with. Period. All right? Look for better look for better people to hang out with, whether they're disabled or not. But make sure they're on your level, okay? Make sure they know right from wrong, because you don't want to be around people who are this close to getting you in trouble. I know one person with a disability who got in trouble, and he's not doing well. I don't know him in person, but I've heard of him. But be you, okay? You don't have to be anybody in your family. You don't have to follow in any footsteps. You know? I'm not, so neither should you. Just because you're a disabled person doesn't mean you have to be perfect or, by people who are OCD or, whatever. Now, yeah. One more thing before I go. Bipolar. I left that out. See? Good thing I didn't leave yet. Bipolar is a type of disability where you get frustrated with things easily. You want things to be perfect. You want sometimes people ask you questions and you're like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, you get upset too much. And I listen, I got problems with people who with bipolar, because you know what? I mean, no, I don't have problems with them 100%. I do have 50% problems with people who are bipolar, because they get when they treat you like you have two heads. They treat you like they talk at you, okay? A lot of cops I've noticed a lot of cops are bipolar these days. And you know something? That's another thing I hope. I hope that we I hope, and I even had a dream that the first person with a disability that I was pulled over. I'm sorry, let me rephrase this again. I had a dream that the first person with a disability pulled me over for a speeding ticket or a stop sign ticket or, and I said to him, listen, it was my fault. I'm sorry. He gave me a ticket. He gave me a court date. And and you know what? I guess who I came across? I came across a judge who was disabled, who had a speck of autism, but I think he was Asperger's and ADHD. I also came across. I went. I also before that though. I called up my lawyer, and my lawyer happened to have had a disability. This was all a dream, but that dream could be something that could come true. I feel that it will. I also had a dream that we did elect the first disabled president of the United States, and he got us. He got us out of a hole that we've been in for decades. I know that if I was president of the United States, I would make sure that discrimination against anybody, is a life sentence of 30 years in prison. Okay? I know that if I was president of the United States, I would make sure that these people with disabilities, homelessness, get what they deserve. Care, okay? And all the things that everybody gets. Well, anyway, good luck to you all. Okay? Good luck to you all. I gotta eat dinner now. Fans, please subscribe at the bottom.